A good name is better than precious perfume. Hello, friends. This is Stella Sanobokelo, welcoming you to the Family Enrichment Hub. I have the honor to be sharing today on the importance of building a good family name or identity. An identity speaks to the distinguishing character, the distinguishing characteristic that you get to be associated with over time. I love what one family coach, Joshua Selman, mentioned in one of his talk shows, and he said, "Every armed robber comes from a home, and every thief was born, and every terrorist comes from a family." In other words, whatever you do, whatever your family name, it will either be a positive one or a negative one. Just as we've gotten to know the people who are identified as thieves and robbers and terrorists and all these different negative things in that direction, because that is the identity, that is the distinguishing characteristic that we've come to know them by. So either you're building a positive identity or a negative identity for your family. And then another thing that we need to appreciate is that a family identity is built over time. It is not something that you do or that you work on overnight. Just as you see, for somebody who goes out to do a construction of a structure for themselves, if you're going to do a building that will stand the test of time, you're not going to build it within a day or within a week or within a month. It is going to take you time for you to build something that will last for ages and ages beyond you. Also look at the case of a seedling. When you put a seedling in the ground, you are not going to start to pick fruits from this seedling the very following day. It's going to take you years of careful tending and nurturing this seedling until it becomes a tree. And even when it becomes a tree, you're not going to start plucking fruits from it immediately. You're going to continue putting in a lot of effort until the time when it starts to produce the fruit that you so much desire. Look at the case of a baby. When a child is born, they do not begin to manifest their purpose and their value for living immediately. No, you're going to put in work, you're going to tend to them, you're going to nurture them, you're going to put in years of hard work in order for you to be able to raise this child to a point of independence where they add value to themselves and they also add value to the society. That is the same when it comes to building a family name. A family name takes time. You work on it slowly but surely. Daily and daily, you're building a name that will stand the test of time, so that when you're long gone, this name will continue working for you. This name will live on beyond you. Friends, allow me to share some insights with regard to the issue of building a family name or identity. What we need to appreciate is that you are building a family name and identity, whether you know it or you do not know it. Immediately you start out a family, you enter marriage, you have built a unit, you have created a unit, you've created what I would like to call an organization, and of necessity, you're going to start building a name. You're going to start creating an identity that will be associated with you over time. And so you better be creating, you better be building, you better be deliberate in making a name that is going to be a positive name, a name that you are proud to be associated with. Look at the issue of organizations within our communities. Every organization is working within the communities where they operate to ensure that they leave an indelible mark, they leave a permanent mark, they leave a beautiful image of themselves within the communities in which they work. For instance, they would love to leave a mark of service excellence. They would love to leave a mark of excellence in their operations, in their finances. They would love to do corporate social activities within the communities where they work, activities that impact lives within those communities. And so in that regard, I would love to share a few organizations that will help us to just drive the point home with regard to building a a family name. Look at Javas as an organization. For many of us who have interacted with Javas, we have been clients in Javas for a period of time. You can attest to the fact that Javas has built a name, they have built a brand as excellent in service delivery. In Javas, when you walk in, what you are given, what you're shown on the menu, and you make your order, that is exactly how your order is going to be presented to you. They do not show you one thing and deliver another thing. And in Javas, when they tell you your order is going to be coming within 5 minutes, it is going to be either 5 minutes or below. So for those of us who have had an opportunity to dine at Javas, you can testify to this fact. Look at other organizations like the schools. We have many schools operating within our communities, and many of these schools are striving to build a name. And when I talk of, for instance, academic excellence with regard to the schools within our community, there are names that stand out. There are schools that you just know they will not disappoint you where excellence in academics is concerned. Why? Because they have built this reputation over time. And when it comes to sporting activities, the football, the athletics, the swimming, there are also schools that have built a reputation over time in the regard of sports. Look at other disciplines like the debating, like the art. Look at also other activities like music, dance, and drama. When you mention these different disciplines, there are schools whose names just come up. Why? Because they have put in the time and the effort to build their names, to build their identities, to build their reputations in these different aspects. Also look at the area of the churches. There are so many churches that are doing an incredible work within our societies, and I particularly want to single out Watoto Church. Watoto Church has built a reputation for service excellence in all their operations. They've built a reputation of being excellent in timekeeping. Watoto Church has made a name with regard to going out of their way to rescue, rebuild, and restore the lives of vulnerable people within our communities. So that is a name that Watoto Church has built over the 40 years of their existence within Uganda. There are also those that have built negative reputations. For instance, when you look at the Lord's Resistance Army, the LRA organization of Joseph Kony, what comes to mind when you think about LRA? You think of the maiming of human beings. You think of the trauma. You think of the murders. You think of the pain. You think of the hopelessness. You think of just the negatives when you talk about LRA. They built a negative reputation. And also when you look at the issue of bring it closer to our families, what kind of name are we building with regard to our families? There are families where when you just mention their name, people are asking you mean the family of the thieves? When you talk about a certain aspect, a certain family again, and somebody is telling you, you mean the family of the thieves? You mean the family of the night dancers? You mean the family of the buffets? You mean the family of people who are ungrateful? You mean the family of people who use servants and do not pay them? You mean the family of people where servants are harassed? Friends, those are negative identities that you can build within your family when you get to be associated with these kind of activities. And so I just challenge all of us, what kind of name are you building for your family? Because an identity is that characteristic attribute that stands out among so many others that you get to be associated with in the society. Friends, I also want to help us appreciate that children are not good listeners to their parents. Children are very excellent imitators. And so when it comes to our families as parents, you better be doing a good job of what your children are watching is something worth imitating, because they will not take too much of your words. They will only watch what you're doing, and that is what they are going to replicate in their own adult lives. So if you want to carry on a certain name within your family line, you better be living out the values and the virtues which are associated with that family line. Allow me share my own personal example here. In our household, Obokelo household, we call our home here a college. Why? Because we believe we've been called to be transformation agents in our network of family and friends. We believe everybody who has a personal interaction with us, everybody who lives within our household, they must not live the same. They have to live when they are better, when they are more positive, when they've been impacted, when value has been added to them. That is the work that we are doing as a family. And so everybody who goes through our hands, they do not live the way they came in. And in our network of friends and family, when you talk about Obokelo family, people associate us with generosity because that is what we have purposed to live out as a family. Allow me to share some scriptures with us. The book of Proverbs chapter 22 verse 1 tells us that a good name is more desirable than great riches. And also the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 8 tells us that better is the end of a thing than its beginning. Why? Because the end of every matter, the end of everything is going to reveal the kind of identity and name that we have come to be associated with. The book of Proverbs chapter 19 verse 1 tells us that better the poor man who walks in his integrity than the man who walks in perverse lies. Friends, as I conclude, I want to let us appreciate that a family name or identity can either open or shut doors for you. And there is a true life story which is told of a gentleman who did a really good job during his active years of service. And when he retired from work, he really didn't have too much of an estate, a financial estate to pass on to his family. But when his son was looking for a job in a certain organization, the interviewers asked him whether he belonged to the family of that particular gentleman whom they knew. And this young man said that yes, that was his father, and he got the job immediately. Why? Because his father had built a reputation within that organization of a man of character, a man of honor, a man of integrity. So this is just an example to help us appreciate that our family name can actually open doors for us or it can shut doors for us. What is your own family name doing for you? Thank you, friends, for listening in. Kindly share this message widely, for I truly believe this is how we shall transform our society through the family. God bless you. Bye.